high school, and in a few minutes it will be official. It's sufficient to say that this year has been an odd one, landing many people in situations they've never before experienced, while making lives difficult across the board. This has caused many of us to miss out on activities we hope to experience our senior year, which is understandably disappointing. So congratulations on getting through a wild last few months of school, let alone life. After today, every single one of us will embark on a different path in life. Some of us going to college, some of us the military, and some of us are still undecided. What I ask of you all is this. Take everything that you've learned in the last 4 years and let it sharpen your mind. Take everything that's made you into the person you are today and let it increase your understanding of yourself. And take everything that you've seen and heard in the last 3 or 4 months and let it sharpen or let it strengthen your voice. Keep your head up. Find the joy in the little things and find the joy in the big things, like a job promotion. Aim to succeed in the path you take, but don't push yourself to the breaking point. Be the person you want to be, but don't be disappointed if you're not the person you thought you'd be. And finally, use your voice and your actions to promote and create the change you want to see in the world, whether it be related to your Senior X topic or something else entirely. Graduates, take a breath. That's 13 years of schooling completed. Be happy. Celebrate. You earned it.
Didn't know my own strength. Tore that thing right apart. All right. It's not as easy as it looks. Ask the graduates. Now we would like to move on to the conferring of diplomas. Could I have Mr. Cunningham come up, please? I will be reading names and stepping aside for Mr. Cunningham to hand over the diploma. Again, teachers will be taking you to the on-deck circle, and they should probably already get started on that. And as I read your name, please come up to accept the diploma from Mr. Cunningham. Also, families, please feel free to come up to the grassy area to take pictures. After the graduate has said a few words, you will then proceed on to the ruck, if you would like, for a picture opportunity, or return back to your cars. Are we ready? Oh, graduates, are you ready? You want this? For the class of 2020, our first graduate, Mr. Josh Billings.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say thank you to my family, my parents especially, for getting me to the point where I'm at now. Second of all, I'd really like to thank all of the staff and teachers that I've been with for the past 6 years. It's been wonderful. I couldn't have asked for better teachers and staff to be with over the past 6 years. And then lastly, the class of 2020. I wish everybody well in the future. Good luck in everybody's future endeavors, and hopefully some of us can stay in touch. Thank you. Am I going this way?
Miss Juliana Bissonette.
Thank you and good luck.
Miss Amber Byington.
I just want to say thank you for my family for helping me through this, and Miss Leffert too for helping me through this last couple of weeks.
We'll have to practice the air high fives or air fist bumps. Our next student, next graduate, Mr. Lawrence Cesar. Come on up. Mr. Sean Donovan.
Shoot. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, Cunningham normally does this for me. As most of the teachers know, I'm not good at improvising, so I'm going to improvise. Want to thank my parents for dealing with me for the past 12 years. I want to thank the teachers for dealing with me for the past however many years all of you guys been here. Want to thank all the graduates because you guys are okay, I guess, but I love you guys. So yeah. This is no Oscar, but it's at least something. So we did it, everybody. Holy crap.
Miss Alyssa Gordon.
Okay, so we somehow made it. That's good. I definitely want to thank my family, but I also really want to thank Miss Leffert because she's been with me for 5 years and has supported me through everything, and that really means a lot to me, and I'm going to miss her and everyone at K-Woods a lot.
Miss Kiana Hedger.
I'd like to say thanks to my teachers and my parents and my friends because they helped me strive to be better. I'd also like to thank Mr. Wagner for my first ever Waffle House visit when we went to Cedar Point last year. That was pretty fun. Good luck, everybody. Oh, I have to give it to you this way.
There you go. Miss Audra Hughey.
I don't know what to say, but thanks, Mom and Dad. We did it, guys. Yay.
Mr. Nathan Jones.
I'd like to thank my parents for keeping me accountable with my homework. I'd like to thank this man right here, Mr. Cunningham, for teaching me how to sing, making this a musical year, making it a better community for the senior class. And I thank my classmates. And that's all I got.
Mr. Caleb McFarland.
Well, I didn't originally plan to give a speech, but here's a little short story. Today I was decorating my cap, and it just helps me think about what I want to say to the senior class, and even to the staff. I love you guys. I love all of you, especially this man right here who's done so much for me. He's great. And yeah, take the words of this weird little robot from Borderlands. Thank you.
Miss Jade McLeod.
Cool. Is this just gonna like pop on? Cool. Okay. I'm not going to talk for too long or I'll cry, but I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. You're such a wonderful group of people, and you care just so much. I really appreciate you. And everyone I'm graduating with, it's been real. Good luck.
Miss Mackenzie Ramsey.
What the heck? Thank you. Okay, I guess I'm just going to say thank you to the staff and my family. Past, year has sucked because I lost my grandma, yet I guess here I am graduating, so I guess that's something to be proud of, and K Woods has become a second family to me and helped a lot with the past year and everything, and I can't thank everyone enough, so thank you, I guess, and thank you to my family.
Mr. Rex Streetman III.
Let's see if I can get this on first try. Okay, so I'd like to thank the 7, or actually there's 8 weirdos standing there right now that have helped me through my life. Along with all the staff, specifically Miss Pullman and Mr. Ferguson, who have helped me a lot through this final year of high school. And I guess that's all I got. So.
Mr. Nathan Taylor. Mr. Luke Watkins.
There's he at. Found you eventually.
Miss Megan Zukowski. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kensington Woods class of 2020. And now for the closing address, I would like to ask Mrs. Pullman to come up.
It is really so great to see you all. I hope I don't get too emotional because I've practiced a couple times and tears come every time, but I'm going to do my best. Good evening, seniors, parents, families, and friends. I would like to say a sincere thank you to the class of 2020 for their invitation to speak at this evening's ceremony. I am truly honored to be given this opportunity to share my thoughts with you during this unprecedented time. March 12th to June 12th. This 3-month time of span is still so surreal to me. I clearly remember my last day in the building with you all. My last day was Wednesday, March 11th, the day that MSU had announced that it would be moving its classes to an online format for the rest of the year. We had a special assembly that day led by Mr. Ferguson to discuss precautions with respect to the coronavirus. The MSU news took us all by surprise, but I honestly didn't make the connection that that same fate would impact K-12 schools for the remainder of the school year. I think I was even in denial for the first few weeks of our quarantine. We couldn't possibly close our school buildings for the rest of the year, could we? And of course, the rest is history, and here we are celebrating a graduation like no other class has ever experienced. Parents, if this is your first child to graduate, I was in your shoes 5 years ago, and this is your milestone too. If this is your last child to graduate, I know how emotional that milestone can be. But let's be honest, whether this is your first, last, or middle child to graduate, tonight is a monumental milestone because the class of 2020 has captured the hearts of everyone across our nation. The circumstances surrounding their final months of high school will never be forgotten. If there are parents out there who are breathing a sigh of relief that their child made it to graduation this evening, my heart is with you, and I understand how tricky the path to graduation can be, especially this year when the senior year as we know it came to a sudden stop. I have had the honor of being the senior advisor at Kensington Woods for several years. I love my role with the seniors and feel fortunate that in addition to teaching math, I get to spend advisory time with the seniors as they make their plans for life beyond high school. Every senior class develops its own personality over the years, and full disclosure, some groups can be more challenging than others. A few years ago, I had one of my challenging days with a particular group of seniors and must have had a look of dismay on my face when I entered the staff lounge. In a comforting voice, Mrs. McDermott looked at me and said, "Don't worry, you've got the dream team coming your way in a couple of years." The phrase dream team was spot on and perfectly describes the class of 2020. This group is bright, kind, respectful, and just completely enjoyable to be around. The master schedule at K-Woods is designed in such a way that almost every senior has Mr. Ferguson for English and me for math. They start their day with Mr. Ferguson, and then I will see them in their respective math class sometime throughout the day. So of course that means that Mr. Ferguson is the perfect person for me to chat with about the seniors. I can't tell you how many times this year that I've smiled at Mr. Ferguson and said, "We are so lucky. This is such a great group of seniors." He would always respond in agreement, and we would often comment about how great the senior play was going to be this year. Little did we know that you would have to end up doing it on Zoom, but you did it. In March, the news that school buildings would be closed for the rest of the year was devastating to me because I seriously loved every minute that I had with this group of seniors. As our stay-at-home break week came to a close and K-Woods prepared for our first day of distance learning, I have to admit that I had no idea what to expect and could feel major butterflies and a little sense of panic set in as I was getting ready to have my first class meeting with B Block. So on that Monday morning, I sent Mr. Ferguson a text just a little bit after 10 that read, "Hey, how did A Block go with the seniors? Did you have many attend?" He called me back right after I sent the text with clear excitement in his voice. "It was awesome. They were all here and it was so great to see them." I can't tell you how wonderful it was to hear those words. I would still get more time with the class of 2020. We are really so proud of you. You accomplished everything during distance learning. You pulled off decision day, the senior play, completely rocked your senior X presentations. And in all of my math classes, we had just gotten to the most difficult topics of the year, and you made it through. Looking back, I realized that my first introduction to many of the seniors was my Project Term Fitness class, and I love that we get to share our passions with our students. This passion leads me to my first piece of advice. Make it a priority to focus on your physical and mental health. Not surprisingly, there is a strong connection between the two. Get outside and just move. Distance learning definitely added more sitting time and screen time to our lives, and so I decided I need to offset that in some way. As part of the K-Woods Challenge, I decided to incorporate more walks into my weekly routine. I typically listen to music when I run, but for these walks, I have gone completely unplugged. It is just me, my thoughts, and nature. I can't even tell you what I really think about on these walks, but spending time outdoors and giving your mind the chance to wander can be very therapeutic. Give it a try, seriously. Next on my list, always be open to learning new things. As a teacher, one of the many things that I love about my career is that I'm always learning. Sometimes necessity dictates what we need to learn. We all certainly learned a lot more than we probably wanted to know about pandemics and distance learning this year. Necessity also dictates that now is the time for all of us to learn more about racial injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement in our country. It has been inspiring to see so many of my friends, colleagues, and former students share resources on social media in support of the movement. My summer learning goal is to dive into these resources so I can educate myself and others and become more active in the fight of racism that exists in our country. There really is so much to learn and share, and you may have come across this same post on your own social media, but I want to take a moment to mention it now because it really puts a spotlight on everyday life for a Black man in America. Here's an excerpt from his post. Twice a day, I walk my dog Ace around my neighborhood with one or both of my girls. I know that doesn't seem noteworthy, but here's something that I must admit. I would be scared to death to take these walks without my girls. In fact, in the 4 years living in my house, I have never taken a walk around my neighborhood alone, and probably never will. Sure, some of you may read that and think I'm being melodramatic or that I'm playing the race card. I still have no clue what the hell that means, but this is my reality. When I'm walking down the street, holding my young daughter's hand and walking my sweet fluffy dog, I'm just a loving dad and pet owner taking a break from the joylessness of crisis homeschooling. But without them by my side, almost instantly, I morph into a threat in the eyes of some white folks. Instead of being a loving dad to two little girls, unfortunately, all that some people can see is a 6'2", athletically built Black man in a cloth mask who is walking around in a place where he doesn't belong, even though I'm still the same guy who just wants to take a walk through his own neighborhood. It's equal parts exhausting and depressing to feel like I can't walk around outside alone for fear of being targeted. So that is our reality. I have never once had to think twice about taking a walk in my own neighborhood, and I think this post always brings me to tears. My last piece of advice is to be kind. Such simple words, yet so much power. One of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, an American author and civil rights activist who passed in 2014. Here's what she said. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Seniors, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize our seniors for the way that they have touched me in Kensington Woods over the years. And yes, I'm going to say a few words about each and every one of you. Just to change things up a little, I'm going to start with Meg, and from there my order will be completely random. Meg, I'm going to take this moment to recognize you with a Quiet Leader Award. You have been a strong student during your entire time at Kensington Woods, and you managed to meet all of your high school requirements in just 3 years, completely skipping your sophomore year. That is amazing. In addition, you were a key member of the eSports Smash team, helping them to earn a top 5 finish. I love your passion for animals and enjoyed your special feature in K Wood's Pet on the first issue of Roar. Caleb, thank you for being such a dependable and easygoing student these last 2 years. I actually remember seeing a distinct turning point with you during second semester of your junior year. You were kind of coasting along and doing fine, but as the Algebra 2 material started to get more complex, you decided for yourself that you needed to step it up and put more effort in the class, and it really paid off. I loved your participation in class this year and appreciated your laid-back personality and your video demonstrations of math problems during distance learning. Your sense of humor always shines through. Audra, you possess two of the most important character traits that I admire most, work ethic and kindness. In fact, a couple of teachers even mentioned you to me before you were officially my student. Mrs. McDermott pointed you out to me one Wednesday after school as one of her hardest working students. In another conversation, I was showing Ms. Brown my project term class list, and she saw your name and said, "Oh, I just love that girl. She has the biggest girl and is kind to everyone." I witnessed those same traits again and again during your senior year. I know those traits will take you far in life. Nate Taylor. Nate, I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to get to know you during fitness because it gave me a sense of appreciation for your energy and playful side. In my 20 years of teaching, I can honestly say that I have never reserved the last few minutes of class time for a student to share video clips, but somehow that became part of our E-Block routine. I know that your positive energy will serve you well, and we all wish you the best as you prepare to leave for the Army in the next couple of weeks. Luke, it was great to have you back at Kensington Woods for your senior year, and I appreciate your honesty along the way. You showed a strong work ethic in my class, and I admire your ability to stay focused even when Nate Taylor may have been sharing his sense of humor during class time. But in all seriousness, I wish you the best as you pursue your goals with the Army, and I hope your future path allows you to travel and spend more time in Japan someday. Kiana, I was so fortunate to get to spend almost 3 hours of my day with you this year. You amaze me with your unlimited energy, and I love the way that you love math and that you are willing to admit that. You truly are the whole package. You are bright with an incredible work ethic, whether you are in the classroom or on the basketball court. I love your take charge attitude. I distinctly remember you leading the group to Chick-fil-A on our EMU campus tour last year, and to this day, whenever I hear Lizzo, I think of you and our summer songs in pre-calculus. Josh, I think at times you felt more like a colleague than a student, and K Woods cannot thank you enough for the role that you have played in our technology department over the years. Even outside of school hours, you are available to us and always seem to respond within minutes to my many messages of tech questions. You are always so patient, kind, and mature beyond your years. Thank you for always looking on the positive side of things. While discussing alternative graduation plans and senior advisory, I loved your comment about having a story to tell your grandkids someday. Yes, the class of 2020 does have quite the story to tell. Dylan, I remember you spending time in Mrs. Markham's office during your first days as a middle school student at K Woods and how you instantly won the heart of our entire staff. You have shown so much courage and strength over the years, and we are all so proud of what you have achieved. Thank you for your honest messages throughout the last few years and for being true to yourself. We are all excited to see where your creative talents take you on your journey. Alyssa, a few years ago, I remember you spending time in Miss Tenney's class after school, usually laughing and smiling, and I thought to myself, I can't wait to have her in my class. Your personality just lights up a room. And not only did I enjoy having you in class, I also loved the time I got to spend with you outside of class. I loved chatting with you and learning more about your life, your work, your future plans. Even during distance learning, I was excited when you would show up to class a little early so I could have a moment just to catch up with you and hear how your week up north was going. I just know that you are one of those quiet leaders who will make this world a better place. Jack, you were a nice addition to the class junior year, and you really impressed me with your strong finish during this last semester of senior year, including distance learning time. I remember last year, College Board did not release your SAT scores with the rest of the class, and we had to make multiple calls to get everything straightened out with your account. I knew as a student that you would be interested to find out your scores, but as your teacher, I think I was just as excited to find out your scores because I knew in my heart that you would reach your college readiness goals, and you did. Best wishes as you pursue an apprenticeship as an HVAC technician. Amber, you were also a great addition to our junior class, and I loved watching you interact with your adorable niece when she would join you at school functions. You have a strong work ethic, and you have always been willing to put in extra time and effort when needed. That perseverance helped bring you to the finish line today. I enjoyed spending extra time with you outside of class, and I can picture your amazing smile as you talked about your weekend plans to visit your sister at college. Rex, even though I was really excited for you to be able to dual enroll and take a college-level statistics course for your math credit this year, I really did miss having you in class on a daily basis. But I am thankful that I got to spend some time with you in senior advisory and that you joined us as a regular guest and tutor in pre-calculus. As you know, my loyalty will always be with the Wolverines, but I am really super proud of you for being accepted to Michigan State and wish you the best as a future Spartan. Mackenzie, you have truly been one of the hardest working students that I have known. You are talented in both academics and athletics, and you have such a great passion for the people in your life. I really enjoyed our talks about your Senior X topic, and I think that you will be a perfect fit for a career in social work. Also, just so you know, I may be reaching out to you next year if I need to keep Nate in line in Algebra 2. I know he will always have the perf math tutor close by. Lou, you have impressed me from your first day at Kensington Woods. Even before I had you in class, you always went out of your way to say hello in the hallway, and you always had such polite manners whenever you joined in on college and career presentations and field trips. I know that you have many talents, ranging from Overwatch skills to archery, and Mr. Ferguson shared that you are doing an amazing job acting and memorizing Shakespeare. I remember on the first day of school, you volunteered for almost every Olympic event. I love that kind of spirit, and I wish you the best as you pursue your goals to become an electrician. Nate Jones. Nate, I honestly felt like I had a true mathematician in my presence watching you in my classroom. I know a lot of the time you were involved in your own mathematical investigations while I was going over a lesson, but I love to call on you and see your brilliant mind in action and find out your unique approach to solving problems. Thank you for being such a great sport when I paraded you around the entire school to share the news of your SAT scores with our staff. My adrenaline just took over once I heard the news that you had achieved an almost perfect score in math. I can't wait to see what amazing things you discover as you embark on your college studies in the field of science. Jaden, I know that when you set your mind to something, you achieve it. You are bright, passionate, and have a strong sense of loyalty. I remember being really impressed with you last year during our state testing week as you had devoted your entire mornings to testing and then spent your afternoons working on the senior play. I know that had to be one tough week. Your spirit has been behind the Paper Plate Awards for the last 2 years, and I love that you made sure that that tradition continued this year. My heart is with you on the final steps of this journey, and I have faith that everything will work out in the end. Juliana, it has been such a delight to have you in my classes these last 2 years, and you did a tremendous job of transitioning into the senior class this year. It really is incredible to think that you were able to completely skip your junior year because you were so ahead of schedule with your academic plans. I will miss the Juliisms that came up from time to time and want you to know that you have one of the most impressive work ethics I have ever seen. Whether your path takes you in the direction of maize and blue or green and white, I have no doubt that you will continue to be among the top of your class at the college level too. Becca, I really enjoyed getting to spend almost 3 hours a day with you. I love your passion for Taylor Swift, Sudoku puzzles, and life in general. Every day you entered my class, you always made a point to say hello. Never underestimate those little connections because it truly was a great way to start my day, and seeing you always brightened it. I know that we didn't quite get to fit in the Concordia tour this year thanks to the circumstances, but we'll be on my list for next year, and I'm excited for you to pursue your career in the music field. Sean, one of my first encounters with you at K Woods was the all-school field trip to the Detroit Zoo. Miss Brown and I combined our groups, and at some point during the day, you noticed the SpongeBob simulator ride. We were a little hesitant to give permission because we didn't want to exclude anyone if they didn't have money for the fee. You responded that you would buy the whole group a ticket, and that's exactly what you did. You wanted to make sure everyone was included. This year, you went above and beyond with a special tribute to the class of 2020. Your heartfelt actions exemplify the spirit of the K Woods difference. I know your parents must be so proud. Oakland University is very fortunate to be getting such a creative and innovative mind next fall. Parents, thank you so much for allowing us to share in this amazing journey with your children. Whether your child will be commuting from home, moving across the state, or enlisting in the military, or entering the world of work, I wish you all the best during this time of transition. Best wishes and congratulations, class of 2020. At this time, I would like to invite Juliana Bissonette to the stage.
And now, I hereby announce the senior class of 2020. Everyone, take your tassels from the right and move them over to the left. Oh, God.
What times these are. It's amazing thinking just what everything that's been happening the last 3 months. Who would have thought that we would be here today celebrating our seniors in this particular but special way? And I'd like to thank all of you for making the way out here and helping us celebrate them. This is a special group of students, and we're so very thankful that you allowed us to have the opportunity to have an impact on their lives before their lives make an impact on the rest of the world. I'd like to wish you all well. I hope that you come home safely, celebrate a little bit, but not too much. Be safe and have a good night.